Safety first.
Always.
Top 10 ways to make sure that you are safe when selling your home.
You're listening to Home Sellers Advantage. I'm your host, Aaron Zapata.
And I'm your other host, Todd Anderson. We are the Bald Brothers team at Impact Realty Group with Real Broker, and we are here to give you the Home Sellers Advantage.
You can find us online at www.baldbrothers.tv. Again, that's baldbrothers.tv.
Or you can call us at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-2253.
Before we get to that, I'd like to just say thanks to everybody who watches or listens. And we do want to encourage you to head over to our website, baldbrothersteam.com, where you can look at everything that we put out there. And if you're on YouTube, hello, you're looking at us. If you are on the audio podcast,
I'm sorry, you're looking at us.
Well, you know what? A lot of people listen to YouTube in the background now.
That's right.
They don't actually watch. So perhaps you're on YouTube watching us, but not watching us. So that's all good. Subscribe and like and share this content. We grow our algorithm and our client base that way, and we're just grateful for you for spending some time with us today.
That's right. Well, hey, let's get down to it. Everybody wants to know, how can we be safe? And a little tidbit, we actually recorded this episode 2 weeks ago, and we had some equipment failure, and so we are recording it the second time. So if you don't like what you hear today, just realize the first time we recorded it, it was incredible.
The best. It was like the best ever. Actually, I think this is going to be better.
Okay. Very good.
For sure. But I can't read your screen.
Aaron is the optimist.
You know, I am the optimist. So we wanted to talk right now in September when we're recording this. This is Realtor Safety Month, and realtors do have a higher risk for violence against them in this industry. We have had reports over the years of realtors who have been murdered and or assaulted at properties. And so there's a big push right now in the month of September to make sure that realtors know how to keep themselves safe. But because our show is not to the realtor, but to you, the homeowner, we wanted to give you some advice, some
tips and advice
on really how to keep yourself safe when you are selling your home. And some of these are things that we've learned over the years, and we want to share them with you.
So, and part of some of this also does have to do with realtor safety as well.
Sure.
But yeah, predominantly we're focusing on you as a seller, you who own your own home. You know, I have to interject before we get into it. You talk about September being Realtor Safety Month. Who knew? We were on the level of firefighters and law enforcement and
okay, you're
minors.
Going there.
No, I'm just kidding.
You're going too far.
It reminds me of that Office episode where Michael Scott tried to validate how dangerous their job was as office employees. But no, the reality is, anytime you are involving something that has value and you have something that is valuable, your home is a significant asset. And so whether it is you, the seller, or the realtor, we have to make sure we are very safe and careful when it comes to dealing with the public. And so we're going to go through this list. There's a list of 10. The first thing that you can do to make sure that you are safe when selling your home is a Realtor Lockbox.
And the way that works is the realtors have a lockbox here in Southern California. We primarily use the Supra lockbox. And the reason this is important is because it holds the key to your house, and that lockbox is virtually impenetrable. Like it is made of the strongest steel. And I have even tried to cut off the top of a lockbox that I couldn't get open, and we just needed to take it off.
Now, we should specify, he's not showing a home somebody else's lockbox. This was our lockbox.
Yeah, we couldn't get it open, and I had to remove it from the house because the house sold, and I literally broke my bolt cutters because the steel is that strong.
Yeah.
And but that doesn't allow you to get into the compartment. And the reason this is a safety protocol is because that lockbox is only opened through an electronic device from your phone. And so that phone checks in, and it literally makes it update every 24 hours with the realtor database to make sure that the realtor or the person opening that lockbox has a valid key, the digital key, and is in good standing with the board.
Yeah, that their license is valid, that their license hasn't been revoked for any reason.
Right. And so if they can't get that updated on their phone, then they can't get into the lockbox. Yeah. Additionally, we get a report when that lockbox gets accessed by the person that just unlocked it with that software.
So we're notified of the agent's DRE number, contact information, all of that information when they accessed it. And that gives us safety for the standpoint that we know obviously who's seeing the home. But the other thing is, let's say that something happens, and this does happen, where a key for the home goes missing and is not there. Well, we can track it down to see who the last one is that accessed the lockbox. It does happen occasionally where you're showing a home, you throw the key in your pocket, you forget to put it back in the lockbox. But it is a safety safety tip number one is our Realtor Lockbox.
1A is that you may not want that lockbox outside all the time.
Yeah.
And you have the ability to say, hey, look, I want to put that out and bring it in at night. And so that's possible.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be on the outside of your door.
Yeah, we would say that's seller controlled. So when the seller leaves the home, they set it out on the front doorstep. And when they come back, they take it in just to make sure no licensed realtor has the wrong property. And it does happen sometimes where a realtor makes a scheduled appointment for Friday thinking they made it for Thursday. They show up on Thursday and just walk into the house. So
that happened to us.
That has happened on more than one occasion. So we don't want to scare you with that, but that is one reason why sometimes the seller will choose just to set the lockbox out when they're gone and then put it back in the house. So
Number two, scam phone calls. What is a scam phone call? Okay, so when you are selling your home, sometimes people will find that information and they will call you. Yeah. And they will try to convince you of any number of things. Primarily, they might try to call you because they want to set up an appointment, and you're thinking, why are you calling me? That my realtor handles that. So you need to know that you shouldn't be really receiving any unknown phone calls when you are selling your home.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that data gets accessed and sold sometimes, and people aggregate and they search the internet for your information, and it gets sold on the dark web. I don't know where it gets sold, but sometimes you get calls from movers. Sometimes you get calls from banks, and a lot of those are scams.
Yeah.
And so you just got to make sure that when you're talking with your realtor, that you know it's your realtor and that you're not being scammed by anybody.
Yeah, and the rule of thumb is if you get something, then you get a weird feeling about it, you don't know who it is, just contact your realtor and just ask about it. And,
so it's a pretty simple one.
Yeah, it's a simple one. Number 3, no unauthorized showings, and also no showings that are unaccompanied by a realtor. That's very important because you want to make sure that every single person who's in to see your home has actually made a valid appointment. And furthermore, there should never be a time other than an open house. An open house is a different thing. But there should never be a time where a buyer comes to look at the home unaccompanied by a licensed realtor.
This has happened many times. You might be out in the yard on a Saturday morning. You've got an open house scheduled that afternoon, and you're mowing the lawn and you're making sure it's perfect. And somebody walks up and says, "Oh, I know you're having the open house today. We can't come back later. Can I go ahead and take a look at it?" That is a safety concern. That is a person that's trying to access your home without their license. You don't know, without their realtor. You don't know if they're legitimate. And so sometimes you just need to put your foot down and say, no, it's not going to happen. The other scenario that happens is, like Todd said, is they may have set an appointment for a Saturday but show up on a Friday, and it is not in the calendar. It's not in the appointment setting book that we have, the electronic one. Don't let them in. You can simply say, "I'm sorry, you need to make an appointment with our realtor," and then we will let you in, because you do not know if the person showing up unannounced is actually a realtor.
Yep.
You just don't know.
That's right. That's right. And, listen, we get it. And we like the fact that you want your home to be shown, because that's the way to sell your home. If you don't show your home will not have offers. Yeah. But it needs to be done in a structured, organized manner. And at the end of the day, your safety is paramount. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
So along with that, or not along with that, but it does have to do with showings, is item number 4 is to leave the home when the house is being shown.
Now, this is contrary to what most of our sellers feel inclined to do. They want to stay and to show off the home and point out all of the things that were improved upon over the years. And honestly, buyers don't care about what it used to look like. It does not matter where that wall used to be or what color the carpet used to be. They're only looking at the now. So separate and apart from that, though, is this idea that if you're in the home with somebody and you don't know them, that there is a potential for harm to you physically. And Todd's going to explain, some of our protocols here as an agent, what we do to protect ourselves, and we would recommend that you leave. But in the event that you're there, do the following. Yeah.
So what we want to make sure is that you are never. One thing is to make sure that as an agent, we want to make sure that we are never backed into a room by ourselves, because if you're in a room and the person that's being shown the property is behind you, they could trap you in the room.
Yeah. So if the only access to get out of that room is between you and the guest, they could close that door and you could be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the primary thing.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Obviously for us, if we have a showing and we're out showing property, we want to make sure that someone else in the office, our teammate, knows that, hey, we're out showing properties and this is who we're with. And so if we don't show up, tonight at 8:00, you better call somebody. So
better call somebody. So yeah, there's two reasons that, just to reiterate, we already said it, but number one is a practical standpoint from the standpoint of selling your home and negotiating. Sometimes sellers can say too much about the home, or they can get in the way, and what could have been a sale might not be a sale because of something the seller said. But the second thing is really the safety aspect.
Yeah.
And now there are cases where it's just impossible to leave, and we understand that. What we do recommend in those cases, that is somebody is showing your home and you happen to be home and you can't leave, we recommend that you just step outside.
Yeah.
Just stay outside, let them have the opportunity to see the home. As long as you are following the protocol of not allowing somebody to see the home without a realtor,
right.
And you should be fine if you step outside.
But Todd, they had a business card. They look like a realtor. Business cards, I can print those.
Yeah, it's very easy to get a business card
for super cheap. All right. So the number 5 today is maintain your property.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a super important element, because if your property, when it's being sold, looks vacant or unkept, it is an invitation to the less than moral.
Yeah.
The squatters, burglars, they look at homes and like, oh, that's vacant. Or that house is looking terrible, and that newspaper has been out there for 3 days. Nobody's home. I'm going to break in.
Yeah.
So it's super important.
Simple things for maintenance. You don't, obviously mow the lawn, make sure the front yard is maintained. And Aaron just said newspapers. You want to make sure there's not newspapers and mail piled up at the front door. That is a dead giveaway that nobody's home, because you would not leave mail piled up at your front door. Packages piled up as well. Even like, let's say there's a broken window.
Right.
That's somebody. If there's a broken window, maybe somebody might already be in your house.
Be careful.
But there are cases where we've sold homes where there actually are broken windows that just weren't repaired.
Right.
So those sorts of things. Now, what we do recommend is that if that's the case, we do recommend that you have a neighbor. Hopefully you are friendly with your neighbors. You have at least one neighbor that you trust. Oftentimes in some communities, you might have a neighbor that actually has a house, a key to your house when you go on vacation, that sort of thing. That might be you. So we recommend, if you do have a trusted neighbor or a family member or somebody who can come by, check on the home and just make sure that everything looks proper.
Number 6, leave the lights on and have them on a timer.
Yep.
When I was renting my house out, I have a rental home, and I simply put a light in the front bedroom on a timer, and it went on and off at different times. It wasn't set every day, the same. And it had different schedules, and it went on and off, because it makes the appearance that somebody's there.
That's right.
And so we had a seller that did this. And I don't even know if you know this, but he put a light in the house as a safety precaution, because he was very good at doing this. But he had a light that had different colors. Mm-hmm. Did you know this story?
I don't remember.
Okay, so he had a house that had a light that had different colors. And so the power had gone off, and then like when the power went back on in the neighborhood after a storm, it reset the light, and it turned on the disco colored lights. So it had a whole rainbow of colors. So
just a nonstop party
like
going
at
on.
8:30 to 10:30 at night, the front window just had these rotating color lights. And so the neighbor, which is one of our safety protocols, called him and said, "Hey, I'm not sure you want a disco light going off at 10:30 at night at your house. That's kind of obvious that you're not there."
Yeah.
And so that neighbor was able to go in and reset the light.
Yeah.
But, you got to be careful what lights you put in there. But you want to make sure you have lights that are on a timer that go on and off to give the appearance at your home.
I have you could set up a mannequin at your entry and then have a timed light that goes on that casts a silhouette of somebody standing at the...
That sounds like Home Alone.
Yeah, that's true. Right. We get our best ideas from Home Alone.
Oh, yeah. No.
Something to add to that that you can also do as a timer is, and we've mentioned this before, is you can put a radio on a timer to, in the evening or whatever, just to give the idea that somebody's home as well. If they can hear that there's a radio going on somewhere in the house, people will not want to go in because they'll assume somebody's there.
And my neighbor has a motion detector at the front door, and they have a sound of a barking dog. So when you walk up to the door, it goes ruff, ruff, ruff.
Yeah.
So, it's another option. All right, number 7.
I kind of preempted it.
You really did.
But we'll say it again. Number 7 is trusted neighbors and to inform them. So you do want to let I talked about trusted neighbors that can kind of keep an eye on the house, but you do want to make sure that trusted neighbors are informed. So not only that they're going by to make sure that the newspapers are picked up, but they're also paying attention to any suspicious activity. And you might even give your neighbor, or if we're your realtor, your realtor's phone number and contact information, so that your neighbor can contact us. We actually had that recently on a property where neighbors were contacting us about activity that was happening in the home. It happened to be a home that was all actually vacant and had been vacant for quite some time. And they did have issues with squatters. And so the whole neighborhood was kind of watching out for it and contacting us when things were suspicious. So we do recommend that.
We felt like it was Mission Impossible. Everybody's watching.
It's an adventure. Hey, real estate, most dangerous profession.
Exactly. All right, number 8. We do encourage you to install cameras and a Ring doorbell. Video surveillance is good for safety and security. You do need to make sure that your agent knows, and so that they can also tell buyers and agents that if they're being recorded, we should put that in the notes in the multiple listing service. Yep. But if you have cameras, it is very helpful. We had a situation where we were selling a home at the end of a cul-de-sac next to a ditch that had like 5 or 6 different access points. And in that area, they had knowingly in the past had some homeless activity. And so our clients were out of state. We installed 7 cameras.
Yeah, 7 cameras all around the property. It was a large estate, too. So there was a lot of land to cover.
Yeah, so we installed 7 cameras. Todd and myself and the seller all had access to the cameras on the Ring app. And so it created the ability for all of us to monitor and make sure that property was safe.
Yep.
And it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the owner contacted me at one time, said, "Hey, I see you're there watering the lawn." It happened to not have sprinklers that were functioning, so every once in a while I'd go down and I'd be spraying off the lawn. They'd be watching me.
That's right. Somebody's watching you. Okay, so that's a good one to do. And you don't need 7 if you don't have a big estate, but front door, back door, something like that.
Simple.
Simple.
I think we're on number 9, right? Number 9, hide all your valuables. And
I just had this conversation yesterday.
Okay.
Exactly yesterday. Yep. Put all your cash away, your jewelry away, put all cash away. Did I just say?
You just said that, but that's okay. You can say it again.
Yeah, because some people have tons of cash, cash heavy.
You have so much cash, we got to say it twice.
Exactly. You also want to put any guns away, guns and other knives, any kind of weapons. Those, and there are people that literally have a loaded firearm in a side table or a nightstand next to their bed. Like, you need to put all that away.
Yeah.
It's for your safety and for the safety of the visitors.
It seems like an obvious thing, but it's something that can easily be overlooked.
Yeah, could be forgotten.
And one of the things that we do also recommend is, you can lock those things up in a safe, but you can also, it sounds a little bit strange, but you can put valuables in an unmarked cardboard box in the garage.
Yeah.
Because if somebody sees an old ratty cardboard box, they're probably not going to assume there are valuables in that location. This is if you don't have a safe or a really secure place to lock it up.
And we also want to add up to this list here any expensive medications.
Yes.
We have had situations where people going through an open house or they're with a visitor, even with a realtor, like, they split up and one person goes through the medicine cabinet looking for expensive drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to make sure that anything of value like that is put away.
Yep.
It could be even stuff that you consider valuable, little figurines, trophies, CDs, or old stuff that you bought and that you want to keep. Like, put that away.
Yeah, and that actually is an interesting point, because valuables, it could be keepsakes that you have that are fragile, and realize that families come through with small children, and although they are supposed to be supervised by their parents and hopefully by the agent as well, it's amazing how quickly those little hands can reach out and grab something. So you want to make sure anything that's breakable, that could be damaged by little hands, are either put up high or they're put away.
That's right. And I think the last one is something that all of us have been guilty of doing and not following this instinct. And that is the number one safety thing, which we left it for last, but it really is the number one.
Mm-hmm.
Trust your gut.
Yep.
If something doesn't feel right, just trust it.
Yeah.
God gave us instinct. He gave us intuition and discernment. And so if something is off, it's best to leave the house, shut the door, cancel the appointment, you name it, trust your gut.
Yeah.
You have the house that you're selling, the house is going to be there, even if that buyer that you just canceled on goes away. And so we just want to encourage you to kind of listen to what's going on inside of you, to make sure that you listen to that and then respond.
Yep. Well, once again, it is your home. It is your property. You are not obligated to show it if you do not feel safe. There's always a buyer for your home. So, and you can always call us. Call us if you just don't feel right about something. And trust your gut. Call your realtor. Call us, and no problem. We'll work through it all.
Absolutely. And when you're selling your house and you're working with your realtor, it's supposed to be a good experience. And so we just want to make sure that you're thinking through the negative side of it to prevent any of these tragic things from happening.
Yeah.
The last thing we want is a seller that gets harmed or injured or gets taken advantage of or something stolen. That's just not a fun way to sell a home. But you know what we do all the time?
We sell homes.
We do. And we're very grateful. We've had a lot of closings recently, many of them vacant.
Yeah.
Actually, many of them vacant with owners out of the area. And part of our safety protocol is to make sure we go by the homes, make sure that, we talk to the neighbors and introduce ourselves as the realtors, because oftentimes the owners of these homes that maybe they inherited, they don't know the neighbors. And so we as the realtors obviously want to know the neighbors because we'd love their opportunity to sell their homes too. But short of that, we want to make sure that they know who we are. So if they see something weird, that they can call us. So we as a real estate team, in additional, practice, is to notify the neighbors, make sure they see our sign, make sure they have our numbers, and then they can call us too, even if you don't as the homeowner. Make that, introduction.
Yep.
Anything else, Todd?
That's it.
That's it.
We've
recorded this twice.
We are your superheroes. we sell homes.
There Todd goes again.
Realtor Safety Month.
Yeah, we need like
repelling
little bald head bobbleheads, right? With capes or something, with a little
we need to like wear
seller.
Rambo bandana, maybe some fake muscles, and we can.
Yeah. Todd, I'll let you get on that right now. In fact, let's do a Chat GPT prompt for that. that set. Put this in a little box, a little figurine. You can buy this set.
Yeah,
you want to do that?
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. Superhero Todd reporting, and Aaron, his sidekick. Thanks for listening to the Ball Brothers team. We want to wish you God's best in your life. And if you are looking at selling a home and you've got some questions, we are here to answer all your questions. We primarily focus in Southern California, but we have connections throughout the United States and Canada. And so if you are looking to sell or buy, give us a call. And until next time, God bless. Thanks for listening to the Home Seller's Advantage. The Bald Brothers team is a licensed DBA and real broker, licensed by the California Department of Real Estate, number 02022-092. Again, we do not give any real estate, legal, or financial advice. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can call us at 833-305-BALD, or you can reach us online at baldbrothers.tv. Equal housing opportunity.